What happens if you combine Musou combat, kind of like Samurai Warriors or Hyrule Warriors combat, like that, with, let's just say, story of a Persona game? You get Persona 5 Strikers. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of history on Persona 5 first. Now, here we have the base game. The base game, which came out 2015, 14, I want to say around there. That's when Persona 5 came out. Really good game. Tons of praise. Everyone loved this game. Everyone loves Persona franchise. Persona franchise highly acclaimed. Got good storytelling. A fun combat system. It's turn-based and it's different. And it's long. It's really long. Like 100 hours. And you have Persona 5 Royal. Now, what's the difference between Persona 5 Royal and Persona 5? Well, Persona 5 is just the base game, while Persona 5 Royal adds new content to the story that is integral to the story. You get 3 new confidants, technically 2, but you get to work on 3 new confidants, and plus, it fixes a lot of the things that were wrong in Persona 5 that took forever, that wasted time. So if I was to suggest that, what would be your first dive if you had to pick between Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal? Get Royal. It's longer, but it makes a lot more things easier than what it did in Persona 5. Because a lot of the gripes I had with Persona 5 were fixed here. Like how you spend your time, how easy it is to get things. Kind of like stuff like that. It was a lot easier. And that's what you want. You want something to be a lot easier. You want the tedious stuff taken out or simplified. And that's what it is here. And plus it makes the skill system a lot easier to achieve max rank. Like on your guts, your knowledge, your charm, your proficiency, all that. It's a lot easier to do if you get stuck in LeBlanc. Like you can do studying, make coffee, make curry. You can read magazines, clean. You can do all that. That boosts your stats, and that didn't have that in this game, in the normal base Persona 5. So get Royal. It fixes a lot of the things that were wrong with Persona 5. And now we come to Persona 5 Strikers. This game is fucking amazing. I didn't think Musou combat and a story like Persona 5 to work, to mesh that well. But it does. It keeps a lot of the emotional punches, the gun punches you get in Persona 5. It keeps them, you feel them. And in the introduction of 2 new characters in Senkichi and Sophia, real fun characters, really fun characters. Sophia is so lovable, charming, and she's just so innocent. While Senkichi, he's probably the best comedy character other than Ryuji, because a lot of the stuff he says is quite hilarious. And how the fan base bounce off of him is some really good banter. And it's someone other than Ryuji who is the butt of the joke. Which it still happens. Ryuji is sometimes still the butt of the joke. Yusuke is still Yusuke. Haru, she seems to be a lot more out there now. I'm not going to say like she's a more forthright with her feelings. Makoto is still the charged person who knows what she wants to do and is going to achieve that no matter what. Ryuji and An still play off each other the best out of anyone in the group. And it's adorable how they just keep bantering off each other, and how you can definitely tell there's good chemistry between the 2 voice actors there, and the characters. You can tell there's good chemistry there. Futaba is a lot better. She's come out of her closet. She's no longer a recluse, but she still struggles being in crowded areas and going to new places. Because in Strikers, you're going to go to new parts of Japan. You're going to travel a lot. And there's not much to say about your playable character, because you are the character. It's your choices. not like some of the choices matter, but it's your choice nonetheless. But Futaba is still really good. Her dialogue is still witty, it's clever, and it cuts deep sometimes. Now let's talk about the story. The story is about 6 months after Persona 5, so your main character comes back for summer break and wants to hang out with his friends. Only problem is that it almost makes Persona 5 Royal feel redundant. Because the characters in there, like Kasumi, Maruki, they kind of don't matter in the story because they're not there. They're kind of being poochied. You know, Poochie from Simpsons, how he just disappears out of the story completely. Yeah, they get poochied, and it sucks because in Royal, I romanced Kasumi. I pursued a relationship with Kasumi because she was so, it felt normal to be with Kasumi as the main character in Royal because they just felt like the same person. And you could definitely feel that there was a mutual attraction there. And Maruki was so fun. He was such a fun character to be around because he just gave you advice on how to better yourself and how to push past some of your grief, your pain, and it does help a lot of the characters. But they mean next to nothing in this story. They don't exist, basically. So do you need to play Persona 5 Royal to play this? I say yes, you still do, because it's still the better game other than Persona 5. It's still a better game than Persona 5. That's what I will say. But yeah, the story is you go back and, well, shit happens. Jails start popping up. And they're different than palaces. And let me say it, they are different than palaces. They are way bigger. Some of these jails are massive. I want to say the third last one, the biggest jail in the game. It is massive. But this first jail, they're all sanctioned off areas that you can explore throughout Shibuya. Because your first jail is in Shibuya. And you go to different places of Shibuya. And to progress through the story, you got to find different things to open, like gates or turn off lights. Just find things that are connected to the person who's in charge of the jail. Now, the people who are in charge of the jails are called monarchs. Now, are the monarchs bad? It tiptoes on the fine line here. You can understand why they became monarchs of jails. You can understand why. And it's different from Persona 5 because the past rulers in Persona 5 were garbage people. They were the worst. They were unredeemable. You could not redeem them. They were the worst. But here in Strikers, you understand where the monarchs are coming from. You understand them and you kind of feel them like, yeah, I would do that too. I would want to be loved. I would want people to show me adoration for my work. I want people to respect me. It's kind of bold choice of storytelling here to go off the beaten path of Palace Wars and go to Monarchs and make the villains somewhat more relatable and their choices more relatable and more human. But yeah, you go through and you take down a jail, then you move to the next jail at a different location in Japan. So you get to explore all throughout Japan, go through with your friends and all that. I won't delve much deep into the story because I don't want to spoil it. Because there is some major spoilers about, I want to say halfway through? I mean, this game is still Persona 5. It's still a Persona game, so the first hour of the game, you're going to be doing nothing. So yeah, it will take a while to get to the nitty-gritty of the game so you can actually start enjoying yourself like a normal Persona game. It takes a while. The combat is super fun. Each character has a type of fighting style. like Ryuji, Zenkichi, and Haru. They're your heavies. They're the people who do the bulk damage with the heavy damage with their weapons. Then you have Sophia and Ann as the range attacks, so they can not get that close to the opponent and they can stand at a distance. Then you have your close combat like Makoto, Morgana, Ryu. Then you have your close combat like Makoto, Morgana, Yusuke, and yourself. They do your close combats. And who's the most fun to play as? Probably Yusuke, because he's basically Virgil. If you've never played Devil May Cry, he's basically Virgil. He is a judgment cut. His style is fast and it hits hard. And his counters are fucking amazing. When you get a good counter off Yusuke, you feel it and you can see that it does tons of damage to the opponents. Tons. Yusuke is by far the most fun to play as. And also Zenkichi. Zenkichi is super fun. His character is balanced with more like risk and reward. You have a risk, which is that you have a berserker mode for Zenkichi, which if you use that, it will take away your health, but you will do double damage. There's your risk. Your reward is that you do double damage. But to get your health back, you have to get out of your berserker mode and start dealing out some combos. Do the combos and you get your health back. Now, the persona techniques are still in here, so you can still use all your persona abilities. You can still change between your personas. It's just not turn-based anymore. It's free roaming combat. The combat can sometimes last between 5 to 15 seconds depending on the enemy. Sometimes mini bosses will take about 3 minutes. The bigger mini bosses, 5 to 10 minutes. But those mini bosses will kick your ass. Make no joke about it. They are no jokes. They will destroy you. And you have Dire Shadows, which I suggest you don't fight until level 50. Then you're going to say, but there's a Dire Shadow in a jail that I probably won't be going to go back to after beating this. Well, best thing ever, you can go back to all your jails. You can go back to all the jails in the game, which is really good because you can still do tons of grinding. You can get your characters up on the abilities because they each have abilities that they can learn the more time you use them, and that gives them more combo abilities. But the main bosses are hard, but there is a trick to them. Now, in every Persona 5 game, there was certain palaces where a character would somewhat take the main step forward and be the focal point of that palace. Kind of the same here. If you have a character that steps to the certain forefront of that certain jail or area, that boss is going to be weak to that character. So I'll give you the first hint. For the first jail, I would be using Morgana, Ann, and Ryuji. Those are the first 3 people you'll be using, and yourself. Those people will be the first jail. So just to get you started, those are the first 3 people that should be in your party. Morgana, Ryuji, and Ann. Because you'll see that when you come against jailers, which are also bosses that guard like the pain of the monarch, so they don't allow that to hurt them. Because the monarchs don't want to be hurt anymore. They don't want to. So yeah, you'll find that the jailers are weak to certain affinities. That boss will be worked to those affinities. There is also a bond system which takes forever to get to max. You're going to be doing it forever. You'll probably finish the game probably around 75 bond. If you want to get the platinum, it will probably take you another 20 hours, which you don't want to be doing that. So there is a guide saying that you have to fight a certain mini boss to get the bonds moving a bit more. I say scrap that because you're going to be doing that for a long time and you don't want to be fighting that one boss for 10 hours. Trust me, I fought him for 2 hours and I was already getting sick of it. So I went and played on Merciless difficulty, which fucking sucks. It is hard. Merciless difficulty is no joke. If you fuck up or die, you go back to the infiltration. Now, at the beginning of the game, you fight a lot of shadows. If you die, you can start out all over again and start the cutscene all over again. So until you get out of jail for the first time, do not die, because you will have to start over again. That's not fun. Trust me, it's not. But it does build that bond level up a lot quicker. Now, my final thoughts on Persona 5 Strikers is that it's really good. Like, it's a great sequel to Persona 5. A fantastic sequel. And the music and the soundtrack is even better. They redid some of the music that was in Persona 5 and put it in Strikers and added new riffs, new guitar solos, new lyrics. It is a better soundtrack than Persona 5. I think that. That's what I think. I think it is a better soundtrack because some of the songs in this are fucking amazing and they're so good. For when you're in combat fighting bosses, it is amazing. This game is spectacular. And I'm so happy that it actually finally got released, because there was a time where I was thinking that this game was never going to be released. It was pretty nerve-wracking when you saw that it was released in Japan, but there was nothing coming out about a Western release. We had to wait a whole year basically to get a Western release, which sucked. It really did, because there was news that they weren't going to release it in the West, and it was getting kind of nerve-wracking, because when you play the Persona games, you want more Persona, and Atlus doesn't like money. They don't like money, which is mind-boggling. I know that's what you're thinking. It's mind-boggling that Atlus don't like money, because they only just released Persona 4 on PC, and I don't know if Persona 3 is on the PC. I don't know that. Shin Megami is getting a early release, number 3, and they're making the new Shin Megami, which I think Shin Megami 3, I never played it. It's coming out May, I think. Around then, and I'm looking into that because that'll be my first Shin Megami game. Yeah, there's not many Persona games you can go out and play right now, unless you have a PC and a PlayStation. Now, I played Strikers on the PS5, Persona 5 Strikers on the Switch and the PS4 and the PC. I don't know, is it on the PC? I don't know. Maybe someone could tell me if it is on the PC. But I know it's on the Switch and the PS4. I played it on the PS5, load times, next to nothing. The longest I had to wait was 5 seconds. It is nothing. I know I've seen that the load times on the Switch are way longer. That's because of the tech hardware, and probably sometimes it just can't deal with it, maybe. Persona 5 Strikers is a fantastic game. It is a fantastic sequel to the Persona 5 series, and I suggest you go out and get it. If you haven't played any Persona 5, go get Persona 5 Royal first. Play that. If you have a PlayStation 5, you can get Persona 5 for free if you have a PS Plus subscription. But I would still suggest get Persona 5 Royal because it's the better game. And you don't want to be doing all those tedious tasks and then play Royal. It's like, oh wait, that's a lot easier. Get Persona 5 Royal. Then get Strikers. Strikers are probably about, the story is pretty short. It's about 50 to 60 hours. So it's a really short Persona game. Like real short. But it doesn't feel like it's 50 to 60 hours. It goes by really quick. And that's why I love this game. That's why I love Persona 5 Strikers. And it's probably me so far, my game of the year. There's not many games coming out so far right now, but it is up there right now. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Hope you enjoyed seeing my #1 fan right behind me. But until next time, this is For the Cultured, and I'll catch you later.